became a computer operator and met my first computer, which was very exciting, very big thing then in the late 60s, and worked at EMI in Hayes. I left that and then went on to train as a programmer. And then I became a manager of a computer section in further education. And I did some teaching there in further education and became very interested in the structure of the computer industry. Why was it like that? How was it moving? Where was it going? What was it about to do, etc. And I was leafing through one of the two weekly magazines that were free, and in one of them there was an advert saying, would you like to become a journalist? If you know about computers, we will turn you into a journalist. And I thought that would be a very good idea. I'll become a journalist. I wanted to find out why the world was like it was. I wanted to discover things going on. And partially also I wanted to be the first to know. And that's one of the things that's great about journalism. You're often the first to know. You're on the inside track. And you know before other people know. And that's a real excitement, a real buzz. One difficulty is that I'm semi-dyslexic. And we were talking about typewriters then. And therefore my copy was sent to the subs and the subs had to work it out. So I had to really focus on writing clearly and looking at my own copy and trying to make sure that there weren't mistakes in it. That's one thing that I had to overcome. The other thing I had to overcome is that you have to go and interview people that you don't know. And you have to go and talk to them. And you have to go and be reasonable with them. You can't browbeat them all the time into telling you what you want them to tell you. Third thing, which I found a bit difficult, was that you have to act like them. You have to be a fish in water. If they're wearing suits, you're wearing a suit. Yes? If they've got shiny shoes, you've got shiny shoes. You've got to be like them. Because if you're just a journalist, and you look like a journalist who's just come out of university or something like that, you don't have as much credibility. So you've got to be like them and ape them. And I found that a bit difficult because I wasn't like them, frankly. I didn't like many of them. These were high-up people in the computer industry, quite powerful, quite ruthless people often, who didn't want to tell you very much. It's become a lot more difficult to get into journalism than when I walked into a job. An awful lot more difficult. One, there are courses in journalism now at university level, so there are people pouring out of university looking for jobs. Two, there are fewer jobs. The size of publications in terms of staffing has been cut and cut and cut and cut. When I was editor of computing, I had 25 staff and a £2 million annual budget, at least. Nowadays, they have 2 people on it, if that. That's what's happened. And therefore, it's much, much harder to get in. So accessibility is very, very difficult nowadays. Doing an internship, do everything you're asked to do. And do it well, and have some ideas of your own and put them up. Those are the three rules of doing an internship. Then you'll be seen. Then you have a chance of getting a job there. But make sure you come up with your ideas. Your own ideas. Don't be shy about that. You're there in a creative situation, and it's your creativity that they're looking for, not your ability to sort out a cupboard. If you come up with a good feature idea, you may be allowed to write it. You may not, but you'll still be the author of it, the creator of it. Those are the 3 things. There are even stronger commercial pressures today than there were when I was working full-time as a journalist. And some of the things I did as a journalist and as an editor, you couldn't get away with today. You just couldn't do it because of the commercial pressures, because it's so much about money. Does that mean that there is no space for creativity? Far from it. Far from it. There's great space for creativity. And in fact, some of the work I see of the students here in UEL, I think is really creative, is very good work, and will be appreciated outside. Undoubtedly, the better students here are doing creative work and will do creative work outside as well. There is space for it, and there's even more need for it, given the commercial pressures, if you see what I mean. That's rather ironic, but it's true. The more the commerce is there, and the more the money is driving it, or the lack of money is driving it, the more creative you have to be, the more you have to think round the corner, the more you have to think, what can we do with these limited resources? The advice I would give somebody considering being a journalist is get published. Get published anywhere you possibly can. The lowest level is your own blog, but get published. And 2, learn to write effectively and quickly. Whether you're going to be on radio or whatever, you're going to have to write, and you're going to have to write for that medium. 3, make sure that you're writing for that particular medium. What's right on paper is not right on the screen. So make sure you have multiple skills to write for different types of media. Also make sure that you're building up your contacts as much as possible, that you know people, that you know who to email, that you know who to phone, and make sure you meet them face to face. So much journalism is now done over email instead of face to face. When I interview you, I can see your reactions to my questions. I can give you another question. I can see when you hesitate. I can see all types of body language about you. And that is crucial. And you see me as well. And we build up some degree of rapport. Get out of the office. Meet people face to face. Why? Because you'll be the only one that will. Because so many journalists are sat in their office just typing away and looking into screens instead of interacting with people. Make sure you do those things. Networking is very important. You can't be in a back room looking at a screen all day long and expect to be making contacts with people. You're only as good as your contact book. And you've got to have contacts in the sector that you're looking at and around in the sector of the journalism that you're in. And that way, when a job comes up, you may be picked.